Welcome to another insightful episode of Me and My Health Up. Today, I'm your host, Anthony Harcher, and I'm a clinical nutritionist and lifestyle medicine specialist. And today I'm very blessed to have with me Jess, Dr. Jess Mangala from Realign Health. And she's here to talk to us about, she's a chiropractor, she's here to talk to us about children's health. And so we're going to be talking about children's health from a structural point of view in terms of development, as well as from a nervous system point of view. So how to keep a healthy nervous system, how important a healthy nervous system is to overall growth and development, and how to keep your kids growing in that optimal space that we all want our kids to thrive and flourish. So welcome, Jess. Hi,
Anthony. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. It's a delight to have you on. So Jess, please inform the listeners as to how you have arrived at doing what you're doing today as Jess the chiropractor.
Yeah, so I mean, through school, it was healthcare and health and wellness was always part of my lifestyle in terms of being quite active as a kid, playing netball quite a bit. There's always injuries in that. So I'd seen a chiropractor when I was younger for injuries, ankles, knees, and growing pains, I guess. And then when I graduated from high school, I went straight into uni. I studied at Macquarie, Bachelor of Chiropractic Science, and then a Master's of Chiropractic. And from there, I got a job with a multidisciplinary clinic, so based in Rozelle and in the inner west. And from there, I sort of came across quite a lot of families in the community. So my sort of progression into wellness care and family care and looking after not just people with back pain, but also looking after kids and their nervous system and then neurological development was also a big part of the practice because we were seeing a lot of young families in the area as well.
Yeah, you have a strong passion to helping kids thrive, and you very much centre around kids' development and helping parents raise healthy kids. So where's this passion come from? Does it come from, your journey through being very active with sports, getting injuries, being helped by a chiropractor and really seeing that need? Or is there another really desire to just create a thriving society of healthy kids?
Spot on. It was, I think, part of the experience of me going through injury and me growing up and having seen a chiropractor as well. Sort of helped with that progression into me moving into looking after kids, so pediatric care as well. As I said, in the inner west community, there were a lot of young families, and now even working in the eastern suburbs, a lot of young families, very active kids as well, which is great. But with being quite active, you also tend to see a bit of injury, and then we start to delve a bit deeper into that and just start working on kids and their stress and their development throughout their growth period, really. Part of my philosophy, I guess, is sort of helping to build strong, healthy spines rather than trying to fix broken bodies as adults. It was just for me that natural progression.
And for those that haven't experienced chiropractic work, can you tell us a little bit about the chiropractor's philosophy and how they view health and the sort of work that they do, just to educate the listeners that have never been exposed to a chiropractor?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, a lot of it, when you do talk to people, the first thing they say is, you fix backs. And backs are part of it, I guess. But I try and sort of delve a bit deeper, and we sort of discuss the importance of the nervous system, which is basically the connection between the brain and the body. And the spine houses the spinal cord, so that's the connection between the brain and the body. So we're looking after maintaining that. That's basically the crux of it. But in doing that, we're working on improving function, we're improving posture, we're improving balance and coordination as well. So when we're starting to see kids, it's a lot of that sort of more neurological stuff that we're checking. We're checking reflexes, we're checking their strength and their balance. And, there's a whole range of different techniques chiropractors can use for treating or for treatment. So you can go from something that's more manual and hands-on to more lower force techniques. We do a bit of muscle work as well, releasing, activating, and strengthening as well. So a lot more with kids. We're working with exercises, stretches, postural corrections, so corrective exercises. So we give them a bit of homework, which is always a bit of fun, but when they can compare from the first session to 6 sessions in, when we do their progress exam, we start to see massive changes in just how confident they are in their own bodies and their strength and their coordination. You start to see that a lot, which is great. Kids respond so well. They don't have all this external stress of, as we do as adults. So the changes you can see in kids is pretty impressive. It's pretty quick as well.
Fantastic. Really pleased to hear that. And just thinking, is there any particular stories you'd like to share with us around, kids working with you and what they've come for and the outcomes that, you've been able to help them achieve?
Yeah, I mean, in my time practicing, I've had the pleasure of working with so many different families, so many different kids, and there's always going to be those little success stories. Kids that are struggling with playing a particular sport or coordination with their running, and just being able to, the next school carnival they have, coming home with an award for coming first or second. Those sorts of things are it's really nice because it's tangible. But it's the parents, usually what the parents are saying is they're sleeping better, the teachers are saying that they're behaving better in school, or, they're not acting up anymore. Those sorts of things are more, for me, like, it's huge. Parents commenting on how kids are sleeping better and they're more calm and they're not so agitated. That sort of stuff is where I get the excitement, because it's a noticeable change. The kids are, you can see that they're thriving, you can see that they're doing better, but it's nice when the comments are coming, the parents are noticing it, the other family members are noticing it, even teachers at school are noticing it. So that's quite cool.
Yeah, you must feel great when, parents are so impressed with, your ability to help their children. And in particular, it helps the parent, because if the kids are sleeping, the parents generally sleep better. And if the kids are behaving and doing the right thing, then there's less stress on the parents. So I guess as you're working with the children, you're also alleviating the parents' stress as well. So it's really fantastic. Yeah.
So we're helping families, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Just from a parent's perspective, what should they look out for with their children to, you mentioned sleep, okay? So if the kids aren't sleeping, it's something that you can help out with through helping, the nervous system. If kids are, got limited attention span or misbehaving or irritable, then that's something else you can work out for. Is there any other telltale signs and symptoms that parents can look out for to say, I think I should get them looked at by Jess?
Yeah, so definitely. So, I mean, a big one is posture. And the reason we check posture is because it's we can see it there. It's physical, So if the posture isn't great, then we know that there's potentially some nervous system dysfunction there. You're putting stress on the nervous system, on the spinal cord, and that's going to eventually put stress on the way that their body is functioning, the way that their organs are functioning. So that's what we tend to see. So, if you're noticing that your kid, and it's a big one with screen time as well, is that you're seeing kids on devices or on screens, or even when they are doing homework, just the postures that you tend to see. And it's becoming a bigger issue these days, because everything's on computers, everything's online or on the TV screen. So it's something we're starting to see is becoming a bigger burden. So even just having a kid's spine checked just getting their posture checked is going to be a good starting point. Most kids as well, depending on the age, they can't fake it. If they're in pain, they're in pain. So say a kid is limping, or if there's, they're not quite walking straight, then that's going to be another telltale sign. So you're looking at the physical body and listening to them. So if they are saying, something just doesn't feel right, they may not know how to explain that. Or know exactly where the pain's coming from, but they generally will let you know as a parent that there's something going on doesn't feel quite right. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, and particularly around that screen time thing, you see adults and look at the some of the postures that screen time is causing at the adult population. That zombie looking look, with the forward head tilt and the hunch over, and and you observe, when you're looking around, you see people on their devices and the position they're in, and you're thinking, oh, that doesn't look good. But they're in another world. They're not aware of their posture, and probably not aware of what they're what that is doing to their posture.
Definitely. It's a huge one for sure, and most people won't even notice it. I do have people coming in and saying, oh, I saw myself in a picture and my head was sitting so far forward on my shoulders and I just looked terrible. And you don't realize these things because in daily life you're just kind of going about your activities without even being conscious of your posture or what good posture should look like or feel like in your body. But there are definitely ways of correcting it. And as I said, we're trying to, working with kids, we're trying to build strong, healthy spines before they become broken adults. So it's getting on top of it before they reach skeletal maturity, which is the ages of 14 to 16. That's when the bones finally reach their maturity and they grow and fuse as adult bones. So it's a good time to get started on working with kids because, we can make some great changes and see some massive improvements with that.
So, the question arises in my mind is how long before, you mentioned 14 to 16, at what age do you recommend parents, take their kids along for a spinal review or check?
Yeah, so I start seeing kids a lot through more school age, so starting kindergarten onwards, and that's mainly because of school bags, sitting more, these sort of, it's just a really big change in their activity, but that also means it's a big load on their nervous system because they're trying to cope with all these extra stresses. I've seen kids from, 2 to 4 weeks old, mums have brought them in for just a checkup of reflexes. So we do something very, very different with newborns and with kids. So we're checking more their reflexes, primitive reflexes. So reflexes they're born with to help them survive. We want to make sure they're integrating those particular reflexes at particular ages to make sure they're meeting their milestones. Otherwise, that can have influences with things like posture and balance and strength. As well. So that's kind of a slightly different sort of area of care. But when we're thinking more about stress on the nervous system and postures, we're seeing a lot more from school age for sure.
And, I've heard that the birthing process, particularly traumatic births, can really have an impact on the way we develop structurally. Is that true?
Yeah, definitely. And you can imagine, like, even for mums that have to go through pretty traumatic births, it's very traumatic for the bub as well, because it's, having all these medical interventions, whether it's an emergency C-section or a vacuum or a forceps delivery is going to be stress, and they'll often do that because bub's heart rate is dropping. So it's, to do, these medical interventions are to help save bub and to make sure that the delivery is safe for both mum and bub, but it can still be stress on the nervous system. And oftentimes I do see when I do check these newborns that they have delayed integration of their reflexes, or they may not be, if it was a forceful delivery, say forceps or vacuum, they may start to see some sort of tightening on one side of the body, or they may not be symmetrical in their movement. And that's, you can see that when they're breastfeeding, latching can be a big issue, or the way that they're doing tummy time, they may not be very comfortable on their tummies. There's going to be reasons for this. So it's sort of, particularly for newborns, and you asked earlier about the signs and symptoms. For newborns, it's very much, they're not sleeping, they're not digesting, they're not pooping properly, they're not doing their tummy time, or they feel unsettled, or they're hard to settle. They're the big ones for newborns. Before they can say anything, you can see those pretty obviously with kids. Yeah.
So that constant refluxing after breastfeeding or bottle feeding, and that constant crying, and as you said, can't settling, would be another telltale sign that there's potentially something wrong that should be looked at.
Yeah. So definitely the nervous system's been overwhelmed, or the nervous system is unable to switch from the sympathetic fight or flight into the parasympathetic rest and digest system. So that a lot of the stuff we do is just to help with switching them out of that sympathetic overdrive to help calm their nervous system. Yeah, and that can just flow on effects that we can start to see things like digestion's improving, sleeping is improving, and settling becomes a lot easier. So the big things.
I can see the importance of working with the whole family, because, if the children, have this unsettling, or their nervous system's in that sympathetic dominance, that stress state, then that obviously, it affects what they're doing, their ability to concentrate and sleep and everything. That impacts the parents. The parents are stressed, not sleeping. And so, your work can really help every member of the family, in a sense of really, switching off that sympathetic dominance, putting it into that rest and digest state, and helping everyone sleep and everyone's mood and well-being. So I can see a real benefit, not only the children, but, for the parents.
Yeah, definitely. And this is the thing as well. Kids are very intuitive. They can sense when mum and dad are stressed. They can sense that, even it doesn't matter how old they are. We sometimes don't give them enough credit. They can sense what's going on in the environment around them. So it's the happier, everyone is, the more you'll start to notice that the healthier people are in the family. As soon as there's stress from one party, it starts to seep into the rest of the family. So it is important to get the whole family checked. I think that's my philosophy,
Well, it's a good point that you raised, because, if the parents are busy with their careers and raising a family, they're constantly running around and constantly stressed. And as you said, the children pick up very quickly, intuitively, that their parents are stressed, and that makes them uneasy, because it puts them into that fight or flight response, because they're sensing that unsettlement, and they don't, and kids are always looking for that security, because they're so vulnerable. So that would make them feel a bit unsecure, unsettled, and really drive their adrenaline response, and that just coming from the parents being so busy and active.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so the parents can help out in the sense that they can, if they can, slow down a bit and, do more relaxing sort of activities, and taking a bit of time and maybe creating some space in their lives, just to be slow and still, and, I guess providing that conducive environment for the children. It's not easy for anyone to, change the routine or change and reorientate their goals, but I think that there's certainly a benefit there if the parents calm a little, and then that rubs off on the children.
Yeah, definitely. And this, I say that to particularly my mum's postpartum that I see, because I see them through the pregnancy and then postpartum, and it's busy with kids. It's busy with a newborn, and it's busy if you've got a toddler and a newborn. I say you've still got to find time for yourself, because if you're not at your best, then you can't do your best for your kids. And that it's a little bit of a reminder for them to go, okay, actually, if I'm feeling run down, if I'm exhausted, I should ask for help, because it's so essential for not only their own health, but for their family's health as well.
It's such an important point that you raised. It's that element of self-care that often forgets, or is put aside for others. And it's so important, as you said, to do a bit of self-care, because it helps you to help others more effectively. And it comes down to that, what they say on the aeroplane, when they're doing the safety announcement is, if the oxygen masks are needed, to look after yourself first and then serve others. So I think, there's an important point we can take away is, make sure that we're doing self-care so that we can be the best mum and dad, or best partner, or just to do our best in terms of being, wanting to achieve certain things. We need to sometimes take a step back and look after ourselves, which is important for all of us.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
do you have any recommendations around, because you mentioned earlier about, the structural issues that can be caused by screen time, by carrying heavy bags. So is there anything that you suggest to parents in terms of how they should, if they, screen time's inevitable. Is there a particular way they should be using screens in order to not impact their posture too much when they do use their screens? And then the other part of the question is, when they're with the school bags, is there, particular bags or particular ways of carrying the bag that will support their structure?
Yeah, great question. A couple of different things. So, I mean, screen time, it will vary for different ages. So, there's ways to look at ideal screen times, but I think generally what I do recommend is that kids and adults are getting up and sort of having a break from the screen for about after every 20 to 30 minute block, which it doesn't seem like much time, but if you're stuck at the desk and you don't get up and move around, your posture is going to suffer. Our core deactivates and we switch to our default, which is often going to be the path of least resistance, which is going to be slouching and bad posture. Same goes for kids. I do say that if they're reading or if they're on, doing some homework, and they can lie on the floor, lie on their tummies, and do it in that extension position, which can feel quite nice because it's actually activating the back muscles in the posterior. So that's another tip as well. But making sure their desk setup is ideal. I mean, we do it as adults, making sure our ergonomics are ideal for us. Kids just as important because their spines are changing quite a bit. The other thing with school bags or with carrying backpacks, ideally, we shouldn't have a backpack that weighs more than 10% of the body weight of the child. Oftentimes you'll see, particularly with the little ones with their huge backpacks, almost bigger than them, you want to make sure that that's not going to be weighing more than 10% of their body weight. We generally will pack the heavier items closer to the body, so at the back of the bag, and then as it kind of goes away, the lighter items can be packed in. And then we try and keep the backpack both shoulder straps on. I don't know if it's cool anymore to have one of the straps off, but ideally both of the straps on, and having the bag secured so that it's not pulling the child back. It wants to be nice, a bit higher up into the center of the back as well. So it's just about the, physics. We don't want them being pulled down by the bag, and we don't want to be doing it, carrying the bag or the weight of the bag on one side more than the other. Yeah.
Yes, just thinking whether that was affected my problem. As I grew into early adulthood, I had this neck tilt to one side, and I can see it in photos today that were taken probably 20 years ago now. And it was incredible. I went on a journey with a chiropractor, for 10 years, and I still occasionally check in with the chiropractor, and I look at my photos taken today compared to then, and I've got much straighter head compared to what I was when I finished school. And I'm thinking maybe it was that heavy back on one side and trying to be cool.
Yeah. I must have known I was going to be a chiropractor because I remember always wearing my backpack on both shoulders, up here, sitting up properly. Yeah, I must have been working towards that.
Absolutely. It's that calling you had from and that calling to then serve the rest of the world and to help them with their posture and how to carry a bag correctly and how to look at a screen and take frequent breaks. I actually really like that point you raised in terms of every 20 to 30 minutes, to get up, move around, and to adjust, because, if you don't, your core muscles get fatigued and then we get lazy and, it affects our posture. And I'm thinking that really ties in well with that Pomodoro principle, to take a break every 20, 25 minutes. And then I was also heard from an optometrist that when looking at a screen, we need to refocus, our vision. Otherwise, we can create, what is it? It would be, we get short, we can't, things get blurry for us long term, in terms of looking at things that are close to us. And, in order to exercise those eye muscles, she suggested after 20 minutes of looking away. So it was looking away 6 feet in the distance for, I think it was, 20 feet in the distance for 20 seconds, and doing that every 20 minutes. So I thought your suggestion is fantastic. For people to apply that Pomodoro principle, taking a break every 20 minutes, because it helps not only with posture, it's helping with the eyes, and it gets us up and moving, and helps us with increasing activity and being less sedentary. So
yeah, definitely.
I really like it how everything's just tying in so well together.
It fits in well. There's research all about that. So it's not just something, a number we've picked out of the air. It definitely is. It's a good reminder. We often will get little, buzzers if you've got a Fitbit or, one of those smart watches that tell you kind of get up and move around. You've only done so many steps in an hour. So it is a good reminder. You can put the reminders on the screens as well. And I think even for kids, if you've got kids using devices, you can also set reminders for them. Yeah. So it's good. It's a necessary evil, because sometimes we'll think if they're getting up and moving around, they get distracted. But actually, if you're moving around and doing a bit of a stretch, you're actually just getting that fresh oxygen up into the brain. So your concentration is going to be better anyway. And people will often say, yeah, but I was kind of stuck in the moment and getting work done. But really, it just helps. Yeah, you get your body moving, and that helps to nourish the spine and the nervous system.
Yeah, and I think it just helps, as you said, become ultimately more productive, because you're chunking, work down into smaller incremental sections where you can just, you know that for that 20 minutes, you're solely focusing on that task. You're turning off all distractions, and that's all you're doing. Whereas I think, people say, as you said, they get into, they think they're in this flow, but they're also in that flow. They're checking their Facebook and Messenger, and they're getting emails, but they're in this flow. And I'm thinking, you're not really, like, how productive are you?
No, it's not.
Yeah. So I think that's a great tip, and it really aligns, as I said, well with the that productivity principle around the Pomodoro and the optometrist 20-20-20, which is looking 20 feet away for 20 seconds every 20 minutes. So I love it. I'm just thinking, we've probably been chatting, seated for more than 20 minutes. So I think it's time. It's a good cue for us to wrap up, and for us to move around and, I guess, walk the talk, so to speak. So on that note, Jess, I'm really keen to find out your number one health tip for thriving children. So, you're talking to a parent here. What would you say, from your perspective, what's really important? And I'm happy for you, if you want to give a couple more than just one, but just your top three, maybe.
Yeah. So, I mean, the big one is going to be, as I said, keep moving, keep the spine moving. So sedentary kids are not great. They're not happy. They're not, there's going to be health issues later down the track. So movement is great. But finding that balance between a very active kid and not actually having time to be a kid, you've got to find that sweet balance. Everything in life is about balance. So, we don't want to stack up all their afternoons with sport and with activities and all these things if they don't have a chance to just be a kid. So that's a big one for me. I think that's probably number one. But yeah, the posture, keeping an eye on your kids' posture, just helping to remind them gently that their posture is going to be a big thing, and they'll thank you for it later for sure. They're big. I don't know if that was quite three, but yeah, the movement and finding that nice balance, and then posture as well.
No, I love them, Jess. I think they're very important. And I love that tip on. And as you said, it was your number one around balance, because I think, you know, I'm constantly, when I'm talking to my clients, it's a discussion that always comes up, is finding this nice happy medium. And it's a constant work in progress, but we all need to be striving for more balance. I think, you know, with, you know, what happens around, you know, whether it be that skin cancer awareness, we become too covered up, and then we create vitamin D deficiency. And so the pendulum's always swinging, you know, too far one way or the other. And I think I like your approach, is very much that finding that happy medium, and always striving for that happy medium of that balance between, you know, doing a bit but not too much, and allowing kids to be kids, as you said, like to rather than just all this extracurricular activities and you know, keeping up with the Joneses because such and such kids doing this, we should be doing that. And you know, it's it's allowing, you know, for the kids to go and play and enjoy, you know, playing with one another.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think, as you said, that, you know, looking out for the structural signs and reminding them, I think that's key, because as parents, that's one of the key objectives of us, or responsibilities, is to lead our parents. So I'm saying that we need to be walking the talk, you know, like, so we need to be making sure we're doing the postural adjustments and then reminding them.
Exactly. They're only, you know, they copy what they see. So, you know, if you've got a bad back or if you've got bad posture, they're going to mirror that. But I mean, there's so many great resources out there for parents to you know, sort of read and learn about how they can help their kids thrive, and how they can help with that as well. So there's, you know, endless resources. Yeah.
So I'll probably ask you, Jess, to share those with me, and I'll include them where I share and post this episode. So yeah, just as to some of the go-to places you refer parents to around how they can help their kids thrive.
Yeah.
So yeah, really. And just on that note, in terms of resources and contact information, how can parents best contact you if they're thinking their children's in need of that spinal check, for, you know, to see whether they need some support? So how can they reach you?
Yeah, so I'll share my contact details with you, but I'm currently practicing at Health Space in Coogee, Randwick, and I'll also be based in Leichhardt as well. So I'll send those details to you. I don't have a big social media at the moment. I'm working on that. That's the one thing I've been steering clear of the screen time myself, but I definitely will be working towards some more online resources for myself, for my clients to see. But yeah, email is probably going to be the best. So I'll share that with you as well. I'll send that to you so you can pop that in the resources tab, because it'll be just Jessica Mangala at gmail.com for the moment. And then I will be able to share some more resources with you.
Fantastic, Jess. And yes, you are someone that absolutely walks the talk. I know that you, on the weekend, you went to an eco retreat, which is, you know, good for the environment, but also you taking time out for yourself and, you know, walking the talk in that sense that, you know, self-care and looking after yourself, having some time away from all devices and social media and just being with nature. So yeah, you really walk the talk, and hence why I love, you know, referring clients to you, and I thoroughly endorse your services to anyone that's listening or watching this, because you are someone that walks the talk and very passionate about what you do and get great results with the clients that see you. So well done, Jess.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Anthony. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And thank you, listeners, for listening in to another episode of Me and My Health Up. Me and My Health Up seeks to enhance and enlighten your well-being. So follow us. Stay tuned for more up-and-coming episodes on health and well-being, and we'll keep you enlightened so that you can make better, healthy, and more wise decisions in relation to your health, and so that you can thrive. So thank you, and bye for now.
Thank you.